QU12, number 8, 2019. So far qualified, 2 guys are asking the questions. Michael McPartland and Ashton, Davies. So far, have a look at this screen here and see the titles are unqualified. Clive Dunning, Tony Walmsley, Steve Kidd. By the way, gentlemen, we've got round 1, it's 12 minutes. 2 points if you're right, lose half if you interrupt and you're incorrect. That's right.
And it'll be 12 minutes starting from now. Who, at 5'2" tall, is the shortest person to win BBC Sports Personality of the Year?
Clive. Dettori.
Sorry?
Frankie Dettori.
It's incorrect.
Nothing away.
No.
Tony W.
Anita Monsborough.
No.
Tony R.
Tom McCoy.
No. Steve Kidd.
Willie Carter.
No.
Norman.
No.
Mike L.
The other one, the other woman, can't remember her name, sorry.
No. Simon.
Jane Torville.
Jane Torville. Yep.
Yeah, good job.
I was going with the jockeys.
Number 2. On becoming Pope in 2013, Francis was the first person from which religious order?
Jesuits.
Jesuits, yeah.
Lacey is the man.
Oh, sorry.
It's on these things then.
Whilst their reverses all contain different bridges, which person currently appears on the obverse of all banknotes issued by the Bank of Scotland?
Mike L.
Burns.
No.
Clive.
Scott.
Walter Scott, yeah.
Yes, Norman.
That was happening now.
Tom Selleck in 1993 for Christopher Columbus The Discovery, The Rock for Baywatch, Paul Verhoeven for Showgirls, Ben Affleck for Jiggly.
Tony W.
The worst actor prize, whatever, the worst actor actress prize.
No.
Clive.
Raspberries,
That's what I meant.
Prompt on that one.
one golden raspberry.
Prompt.
The worst actor.
No. That one you told him.
Rubbish.
He was
Steve
different.
Lacey.
Raspberry for the worst director.
No.
Mike L.
The worst of the worst.
No. Still got a bit to go on the
Steve
question.
Kidd.
Hey, me,
Yeah.
part of the worst couple.
No.
Simon.
Worst 60.
No. So you've still got a bit of a question to go. Tom Green for Freddie Got Fingered, Halle Berry for Catwoman and Sandra Bullock for All About Steve are some of the very few winners of a Razzie Award to have done what?
Lee.
Also an Oscar.
No.
Norman.
Sorry?
Say the same.
No.
Worst action scene.
No.
Anybody else?
No. They all turned up to accept their awards. In 1994, the first time they bought him, Tottenham Hotspur purchased Jurgen Klinsmann from which team? Sorry? No.
Away, Tony R.
No.
Tony W.
AC Milan.
No.
Mike L.
Leverkusen.
No.
Steve Lacey.
Sorry? Monaco's correct.
The Oracle of Drigglington.
Whilst Australia have yet to win the Eurovision Song Contest, which Australian-born person?
Steve Kidd.
Jimmy J.
Sorry?
Jimmy J.
No.
Tony W.
Johnny Logan.
Johnny Logan, yeah, born in Australia.
Hello.
The only person to win it 3 times. In which country would you find the Ian Fleming International Airport?
Steve Kidd.
Jamaica, yep.
Correct, Rob.
The year 1016 saw 3 different kings of England.
Simon.
We've got Ethelred the Unready.
Out. Ethelred the Unready, Canute, and which other person?
It's Norman.
That's incorrect.
Mike L.
Harold the First.
No.
Clive.
Ironside, yeah. I didn't want you to go up because I was going to give you that. This one. Oben am Jungen Rhein, or High on the Young Rhine, is the national anthem of which country?
Clive.
Liechtenstein, yeah.
Yes, Norman.
Given the name Wreck the Hoose Juice, Which caffeinated fortified wine, originally produced by Benedictine monks.
Simon.
Buckfast, yeah.
Birmingham 2.
Although she was allowed to change it back after winning a prize on day 72 of the competition, what name did the model and Big Brother Series 10 winner Sophie Reed have to legally change her name to in order to enter that year's Big Brother house? Anybody? No. She had to become Dogface.
Fairly accurate.
Which novel, it's not accurate,
Oh, it is.
which novel published in 1922 is set entirely in Dublin on the 16th of June?
Mike Lees.
Ulysses.
Ulysses. Which job that first became widely known after someone who performed it appeared on the TV show What's My Line involves making the base of an object?
Tony R.
That is correct, yeah. In 2002, the award Reader of the Year caused controversy as it was won by which person who had only 3 months previously turned 16?
Tony W.
Charlotte Church, yeah. So nearly halfway through.
So scores at 16. Clive has 5, Tony W 4, Simon 3. Lots of people on 2. Steve Kidd, Tony R, Steve Lacey, Lee, Mike Lees, and Amit yet to get, and Norman yet to get off the mark.
Right, so 6:13 to go. Although it is yet to be classified as such and is expected to be a volatile metal, Tennessine is currently in which group of the periodic table? The name of the group?
Simon.
Halogens.
Halogen, yep.
Birmingham 2.
Full name required. Appearing in Coronation Street in 2010.
Simon.
Sorry, I'm Mulligan, but...
Mulligan, yeah, Mulligan. Laurie Cunningham was played by which actor? He is the son of a long-term Coronation Street actor and has appeared more prominently as Robert F. Kennedy in RFK, David Wellington in Homeland, and King Egbert of Wessex in The Vikings. Who is this actor?
Norman.
Linus Roach, yeah.
Yes, Tony.
In 1991, the area of Appenzell Innerrhoden, against much protests from local politicians, was forced by national politicians to finally give women the vote on local issues. The area is part of which country?
Simon.
Switzerland.
Switzerland, yeah.
Birmingham 2.
One for Norman. What series of computer games by Asker Entertainment sees players take on the role as a merchant living in one of the cities of a Hanseatic league with the goal of being elected as its leader? The game gets its title from a group of ruling class families in ancient Rome whose numbers included the family of Julius Caesar.
Simon.
Patrician, yep.
Birmingham 2.
Later to find greater fame within the quizzing world, which person won the first series of the European-wide Henry Kelly hosted quiz show Going for Gold?
Dean.
Daphne, yeah, that's enough. 4:24
Could
to
it be a
go.
hat trick?
What specific item is stolen in a so-called millennium burglary? It is so called as this kind of crime has risen significantly since 2000 and is now as it is now much more difficult to steal another much higher value item without it.
Chris B.
No.
Steve Kidd.
Mobile phone?
No.
End of the question. Simon.
Car keys.
Car keys, yeah.
Birmingham 2.
The Horse of the Year show and Brain of Britain both use works by which composer as their
Norman.
Mozart, yeah.
Yes, Tony.
Also called the upper balcony, they can be so high up that they are said to look down on everyone.
Simon.
The gods.
The gods, yeah.
Birmingham 2.
The 1989 film The Delinquents saw which actress?
Steve Kidd.
Kylie Minogue, yeah.
Correct wrong.
Bizarrely for a sailing competition, the country in question is landlocked.
Norman.
Switzerland again, yeah, one European country to win the America's Cup.
Yes, Tony.
Which metal forms the alloys tumbaga with copper, rhodite with rhodium, and electrum with silver?
Lee.
Gold, yeah. We've got 3 minutes to
This
go
is the
now.
man.
Scores are Simon
257.
Chilton 13, Norman 6 in second, Clive 5, Steve Kidd and Lee and Tony W 4, Tony R, Steve L, Mike Lees, Chris Bean on 1, 2, Annex still to get off the mark.
Featuring the songs Moonshine Lullaby, Anything You Can Do, and There's No Business Like Show Business.
Tony W.
There's no, and get your gun.
And you get your gun, yeah.
Hello.
Born Rodney Anuahu, during his career he had at times a build weight of over 600 pounds.
Chris Bean.
Yokozuna, yeah.
Could it be a hat trick?
Holding the post from 1905 to 1916, which Liberal MP for Berwick-upon-Tweed was UK's Foreign Secretary at the beginning?
Lee.
Great.
Great, yeah.
Lacey is the man.
The superhero duo of Angel Summoner and BMX Bandit and the alcoholic chain-smoking snooker commentators Ted and Peter were the creations of which comedy double act?
Chris Bean.
Mitchell and Webb, yeah.
Could it be a hat trick?
Having responsibility for the secret torture of enemies to the state and for the Fort Police, which government department in the novel 1984 is officially responsible for dealing with law and order?
Steve Lacey.
That's incorrect, nothing away.
Mike L.
Justice.
No.
Tony R.
Ministry of Love.
Ministry of Love. Yeah.
Nailed it.
1,038 mile long Snake River is the longest tributary of which other river? The river in question is 1,243 miles long, has a drainage basin roughly the size of France, and rises in the Rocky Mountains. It has the largest flow of any North American.
Tony W.
Didn't mean it, that's all. I didn't mean it.
Alright, that's Mulligan. It has the largest flow of any North American river entering the Pacific Ocean and flows through the city of Portland, Oregon.
Steve Kidd.
No, nothing away.
Simon.
Red River.
No,
Mike L.
Colorado.
no,
B.
Rio Grande.
no.
Tony W.
Please. I pressed accident.
Pressed again.
Pressed again.
Anyone else?
Lee.
Columbia, yeah. 52 seconds to go.
Lacey is the man.
Next question. The pioneers Jim Boyd and Davy Crockett both died on the 6th of March 1836 at what location?
Tony R.
Alamo.
The Alamo. Yep.
Nailed it.
What surname is shared by a Dutch international footballer who has the first name Denzel and a Formula 1 driver called Johnny, who is also the 7th Earl of Bute?
Simon.
Dumfries. Yep.
Birmingham 2.
25 seconds. Used in its country as the primary institute of higher learning for the political and administrative elite. The institution, Science is Poor, rated the third best for politics and international relationships in the world, can be found in which city?
Mike L.
Venice.
No.
Steve Kidd.
Pyongyang.
No.
Tony R.
Paris.
Tony R. Paris, yeah. And this will be the last question.
Nailed it.
Scores are Simon Chilton 15, Tony Richardson, Lee Warburton both on 8, Norman Wilson, Tony Walmsley, Chris Bean all on 6, Clive Dunning on 5, Steve Kidd on 4, Steve Lacey on 2, Mike Lees on 2, Emmett on 0. How many going out?
I think it's 3.
3 going at the moment going out is Emmett with 0, Mike Lees with 2 and Steve Lacey with 2. Your target is Steve Kidd on 4.
Last question. In its 5th series, which debuted in 2017, Casey Webb debuted as the new presenter of which culinary-based show?
Mike Lees.
Great respect.
No, that's half his points.
That's no.
Question not over. During the 5th series, Casey lost half the challenges which give the show its
Simon.
name.
Man versus Food.
Man versus Food. Yeah.
Storm's away with that. Simon 17.
Sorry.
Double what everybody else got.
Sure. I'm going.
So knocked out are Emmett and Mike Lees and Steve Lacey.
Right. When Steve sits down. Okay, move on to round 2. We all know the format, so I will not go through the rules. And are we all ready to start? All in green?
Yeah.
Okay, question 1. In this Olympic Games, 24 men managed to get perfect 10 scores in gymnastics. 23 of these were in the now discontinued event of rope climbing. This Olympic Games, Haiti, Ecuador, Lithuania and Uruguay all made their Olympic debuts. It also was the first Olympics to use the motto Citius Altius Fortius for 5 points. The Olympic was the last Olympic Games to be organised while Pierre de Coubertin was president of the IOC. 4 points. Finland came second in the medal table with 14 golds, well behind the USA in first place, but 1 gold ahead of France in third. For 3 points. It was the first Olympic Games where Ireland competed as an international country. Amongst the demonstration sports were pelota, savate and jeu de paume. For 2 points. It was
Tony R.
Paris 24.
That's correct. For 3. Question 2, 6 points. What name is shared by a type of slam dunk in basketball where the ball is brought over the top of the head before being stuffed into the basket in a chopping motion? For 5 points, a tool used in geometry for angle trisection, which is also known as the shoemaker's knife, and the nickname for the American Rugby League team. For 4 points, as a on-the-bone rib steak cut from the forerib.
5.
Hawk.
Right.
Well, they're known as the Hawks, the rugby league team.
Yeah, pass it on, yeah.
Tomahawk.
Tomahawk, yeah. The tomahawk.
Am I minusing 5 there?
Yeah, -5, yeah.
5 points for Chris?
Yeah. Question 3 for 6 points. This political alliance was formalised at the Lucca Conference, and it allowed one of its members to be given a very rare 5-year-long army command. 5 points. The alliance was solidified by one of its members marrying Julia, who was the daughter of another of the members. The Lucca Conference divided territory between the alliance members. These territories were modern-day Syria, France and Spain. 4 points. One of the members of this political alliance founded ancient Rome's first ever fire brigade, whilst another member was the chief priest in the Roman religion, and another had been triumphant in the Third Mithratic War, which resulted in Judea becoming a client state of Rome. For 3 points. This political group was in existence between 60 to 53 BC.
Simon.
First triumvirate.
The first triumvirate.
How many points?
That is for 3 points. Question 4, 6 points. This phrase gives its name to a fictional game show seen in the film National Lampoon's European Vacation.
Fictional what?
Game show.
Fictional game show seen in the film National Lampoon's European Vacation. For 5 points. The Chinese version of this phrase translates into English as buy a cow over there in another mountain. For 4 points. The practice referred to in this phrase was addressed in common law in the 1815 case of Gardner versus Gray, which guaranteed a buyer the right to inspect goods before purchase. 3 points. The phrase "let the cat out of the bag" is thought to have originated from the end result of this practice. For 2 points. The modern use of this phrase is where a buyer takes the risk on purchasing.
Tony W.
Caveat emptor, by the way.
No.
How many minus was that?
-2. The modern use of this phrase is where a buyer takes the risk on purchasing an unseen item at a lower asking price with the hope that the unseen item is of high value. For 1 point, what is the name of this medieval confidence trick?
Tony R.
Pig in a pork.
Pig in a pork, yeah.
1 point.
Yeah, 1 point. Question 5 for 6 points. A fictionalised version of the historical figure was played by Robert Emms in the 2013 BBC TV series Atlantis. It was said that he did not indulge in the pleasure of love and cautioned followers to only have sex whenever they were willing to be weaker than themselves. 5 points. The wrestler Milo of Croton is credited with saving this person's life when a roof was going to collapse on him. Plato's dialogues, especially Timaeus, were influenced by this person. 4 points. This person was born on the island of Samos in around 570 BC. and in around 530 BC found a school in Croton.
5.
Pythagoras, yeah.
How many points?
4 points.
5 got to 0.
Back to 0, another shot. Question 6 for 6 points. A 1993 album with this title, the third of 4 released by an artist whose first album in 1990 was called Everybody Knows, contains covers of the songs Young Hearts Run Free, Rescue Me and Boogie Nights. For 5 points, a song with this name produced by Stockton and Waterman reached number 2 in the UK singles charts in 1990, and a 1999 cover version, also produced by Pete Waterman, reached number 4 for a UK 5-member band. For 4 points, these two versions.
Only W.
Better the devil you know.
Better the devil you know. Yeah.
Garden.
That's 4. That was Sonia's album.
Can you hit a key on those?
4 points.
Screens come up saying this something or it goes off. That's it.
Halfway through?
Halfway through, yeah.
Okay, scores are halfway. Tony Richardson, Chris Bean both on 4, Simon Chilton on 3, and Tony Wormsley on 2. In the danger zone is everybody else on 0.
Was that for 44 points then?
That was 4, yeah. Just started the 2 versions of this, yeah. Question 7. This company has its headquarters at Auburn Mills, Michigan, and its current CEO is Michael Manley. 5 points. The 1910 Mexican border war saw the first US military operation to use truck convoys. For these convoys, General John Pershing acquired 250 trucks from this company and used one of their cars to visit army columns and to control their movements. As a result, the company was the American military's primary supplier of light-wheeled vehicles during World War I and II. 4 points. It was founded in 1900 by a pair of brothers whose first names were John Francis and Horace Elgin, and their surname gave the company its name.
5.
Dodge, yep.
Many?
4 points.
Dodgy internet line.
Question 8 for 6 points. The 2 producers of this film were Graham King and Jim Beach, and Tim Roth's son Jack plays Tim Strayful in it. For 5 points, the difficult production of the 1984 album Mr. Bad Guy is depicted in this film. 4 points. Due to the rules of the Directors Guild of America, despite being fired before filming ended, Bryan Singer is credited as the sole director of the film. Therefore, Dexter Fletcher, who finished the film, received a credit as executive producer. As a result, the film was not nominated for a Best Director Oscar, despite being nominated for Best Picture. In the film, Dickie Bowe plays the DJ Kenny Everett. For 3 points.
Tony W.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's correct. For 4.
4.
It was, but I didn't want to listen.
You hadn't found 3. Question 9 for 6 points. If this event had happened, it would have resulted in the creation of a new country whose president would have been able to serve a maximum 1 term lasting 6 years. For 5 points, learning how to best use massive advantages in manpower and industry was key to prevent this event happening, which looked very possible after a number of surprise victories in the early months of the conflict. 4 points, the loss of Special Order 191 played a significant part in this event not happening. The loss affected the result of the Battle of South Mountain. For 3 points, and the Battle of Antietam. If Pickett's charge had succeeded, this event could have happened. For 2 points, the novels Bring the Jubilee by Ward Moore. Simon?
The South winning the Civil War.
That's correct. For 2 points.
More than 2 points, puts you back into the qualifying zone.
3 questions to go.
Tony Wormsley 6, Simon Chilton 5, and a 3-way tie on 4 between Tony R, Clive and Chris B, and everybody else still to score.
Right, question 10 for 6 points. This country has the city of Hunt-Solon as its financial centre and only legalised television and the internet in 1999.
Tony R.
Bhutan, yeah.
What an answer that is.
Question 11 for 6 points. The majority of this novel is set on the steamer the Carnac. For 5 points. Characters in the novel include the romance novelist Salome Otterburn, the Italian archaeologist
Lee.
Death on the Nile is correct for 5 points.
5 points for Lee. Puts the cat on the pigeons a bit. Last question. Last question. The scores are Tony Richardson, Leave It Alone, 10. Tony Walmsley, Leave It Alone, 6. Simon Chilton and Lee Warburton are taking the last two places at the moment with 5. Clive and Chris Bean both have 4. So you need a few points. Steve Kidd, Norman, you both need 5 at least.
Right, question 12, 6 points. In baseball, the name given to a play which enabled the Seattle Mariners to beat the New York Yankees in the 11th innings of the final game of their series of a 1995 MLB playoff game. For 5 points, in bridge, a call that increases penalties if the opponent fails to make their contract, but also increases...
Simon.
Double.
A double.
Yep. That's correct, for 5 points. So, qualifying are Tony Richardson, Simon Chilton with 10, Tony Walmsley with 6 and Lee Warburton with 5. Everybody else is gone.
Stay where you are, keep it rolling.
Okay, so we're on the final round. First to 12 gets through to the final, and we have taking part Tony Richardson, Lee, Simon and Tony Walmsley. Do you know the rules? Incorrect interruption, you lose a life, lose 3 life, you are out. First to 12 wins. Question 1, are we all ready on green? Written in 1911, Calvin Coolidge's future Vice President Charles G. Dawes is the only person to hold that position who is credited with writing a song which went to #1 in the UK singles charts. What song was this? It is
Tony W.
It's all in the game.
Affirmative.
Featuring the actor Lloyd Owen in the lead role of Darren Matthews, the 1993 ITV television programme All in the Game saw Owen's character, an English footballer, transferred to which Spanish football team?
Tony W.
Real Madrid.
Incorrect, nothing away.
Lee.
Barcelona. Whilst Barcelona's football team are the most famous sports club from the city, its team in which sport that features the players Aaron
Lee.
is incorrect.
Incorrect.
That features the players Aaron Parmesan, Ludovic Fabregas and captain Victor Thomas, has won their sports version of La Liga 17 of the last 28 years since the competition started, including every year since 2011, and the last 2 years has won the Super Globe, the equivalent of the World Club Cup.
Tony R.
Handball.
Handball, yeah.
Correct amount.
Lee, it's saying you've got 2 lives, but you've only got 1. I just want to remember.
Right. At the age of 73, which person died on the 10th of June 1926 when they were run over by a streetcar in Barcelona? Their famous work is not due to be
Lee.
Gaudi, yeah.
Absolutely.
If still living, you're right, Tony?
Yeah.
If still living, which current head of state will on the 21st of April 2026 celebrate their 100th birthday?
Lee.
Elizabeth II, yeah.
Absolutely.
Which person who died in 1996 at the age of 100 wrote the book How to Live to Be 100 or More? When aged 96, he signed a lifetime contract with Caesar's Palace to perform a stand-up comedy show.
Simon.
No, it's incorrect. Life away. Question not finished.
Tony W.
George Burns.
Burns, yeah.
Affirmative.
A feat successfully accomplished by his son Robbie in 1989. Earlier in 1967, what part of Caesar's Palace did Evel Knievel infamously not manage to jump over?
Simon.
The fountain.
The fountain, yeah.
Yes.
Fountains Abbey near Ripon was a monastery for this order of monks who were founded in 1098. They were
Tony R.
Cistercians, yeah.
Correct amount.
There are only 14 breweries recognised by the International Trappist Association as being able to produce Trappist ale. In which country is the only one of...
Lee.
No, it's incorrect, life away. In which country is the only one of these 14 which is outside Europe?
Simon.
Mexico.
It's incorrect, nothing away.
Tony W.
India.
No,
Tony R.
South Africa.
nope. Audience, anyone?
Australia.
It's in the USA. It's Spencer, Massachusetts. Who in 2014 became the first footballer born outside Europe to win the PFA and Football Writers Player of the Year awards?
Tony R.
Catty.
That's incorrect, nothing away.
Lee.
No. Anyone? No. Michael Lee?
Suarez.
Suarez, yeah.
Yes, Suarez.
Justin, played by Mark Indalecto, Hilda, played by Anna Ortiz, and Ignacio, played by Tony Planner, are all members of the Suarez family and are close relatives of the title character in which American comedy series? The title?
Tony W.
Ugly Betty.
Ugly Betty is correct.
Affirmative.
In the film Grease, which of the Pink Ladies has the first name Betty? She sings the song There Are Worse Things I Could Do, has a pregnancy scare.
Tony W.
Bitzer.
Yeah, it's all, yeah.
Affirmative.
Located at Olympia in Greece, what was the smallest and most westerly of the 7 wonders of the ancient world?
Tony R.
Temple of Artemis.
That's incorrect. Nothing away. Nobody?
Lee.
Delphi.
No.
Tony W.
Gloucester Woods.
No. That was in Rhodes.
Simon.
Yeah, the statue of Zeus.
Statue.
A statue of this mythological figure by Adamo Tadolini can be found at Chatsworth, and a poem by Gopher about him was set to music by Franz Schubert in 1817. In the Iliad, he was the son of Tros, the founder of the city of Troy, and his name was Latinized as Catamitus. Considered the most beautiful of all mortals, he is a rare example of Zeus falling in love with a man. He was abducted by Zeus in the...
Tony W.
Adonis.
That's incorrect. Life away.
No.
He was abducted by Zeus in the form of an eagle, made immortal, and went on to serve as cupbearer of the gods.
Simon.
Ganymede, yeah.
Yes.
The 2 largest moons of Uranus are named after characters from which play by William Shakespeare?
Simon.
That's correct.
Yes.
Which play by Shakespeare sees Claudio sentenced to death for fornication with Juliet? They were betrothed but had not gone through all the legal technicalities of marriage. This rule is enforced by Angelo, who is ruling in a draconian fashion in place of Duke Vicentio, who has left on a diplomatic mission. In reality, he has disguised himself as Friar Lodovic and is observing how Angelo rules. In the play, Angelo is also tricked into consummating his marriage with Mariana after he abandoned her when her dowry was lost at sea. This trick is carried out by Isabella, who tricks him into thinking he's having sex with her, but insists they do it in total darkness. Often labelled as a problem play, what is the only Shakespeare play set in Vienna?
Tony W.
Measure for measure.
Measure for measure, yeah.
Scores at the moment. Tony W. in the lead with 5, lost 1 life. Lee has 3, but has lost 2 lives. Simon has 3, but has lost 1 life. Tony R. 2, but has lost no lives.
The Measuring Man and the Green Man were both aliases used by which man when he carried out a range of sex attacks in Massachusetts in the early 1960s. His most famous alias, however, came from a series of 13 murders which he confessed to and are usually attributed to him, but he was never tried for. What is the name of this person who is considered the prime suspect in the Boston Strangler murders?
Tony R.
Salvo.
DeSalvo, yeah, Albert DeSalvo.
Correct amount.
The 1996 album Green Man was the debut solo album of which Take That singer. It spawned the number 3 single Child.
Tony W.
Mark Owen, yeah.
Affirmative.
The lead child character Jack Reacher is a major in which branch of the United States Army?
Tony W.
Marines.
It's incorrect, nothing aware.
Tony R.
Navy.
No,
Simon.
Army Air Corps.
no. No, he's in the military police. A 1964 TV series starring John Ford and a 2001 series starring Tamsin Outhwaite both have what name?
Lee.
Red Cap. Yeah.
Absolutely.
In the 2001 version of Red Cap, a character played by George Kennedy shares his name with this person. From 1988 to Jerry Garcia's death in 1995, he played piano and provided vocals as a touring member of the band The Grateful Dead. the winner of the 1987 Grammy for Best New Artist. He currently plays with a band called the Noisemakers, and over the years he has moved to a more bluegrass sound, winning a Grammy in this category. He is still, however, best known for his piano-heavy pop songs from the 1980s, including Mandalay Rain and Valley Road.
W.
What was the song you said?
Mandolin Rain and the Valley Road.
It's Bruce Hornsby.
Bruce Hornsby, yeah.
What's what you said, but I couldn't do it.
Which casino on the Las Vegas Strip shares its name with a town that has a population of just under 4,000 people? It is where Franz Liszt wrote most of his work for Album d'un Voyageur, and it can be found on Lake Como in Italy. Crispy, another one? Bellagio, yeah. The porn star Jessie J, the Playboy playmate Holly Madison, and the actress Amy Adams have all worked for this company, which owns a hotel and casino in Las Vegas, which shares the company's name. The company also owns an airline, but is primarily known as a restaurant chain which specialises in hot wings, burgers and steak. Its only branch in the UK is in Nottingham, although it has 430 branches worldwide. What is this restaurant chain, which has an owl in its logo, organises beauty pageants?
Simon.
Hooters, yes.
I've been there.
You're admitting to that on camera, Tony.
It's a horrible place, honestly.
How are your wings?
Went to see the cricket end up there.
Go your bingo rings.
Invented in the 1990s, what portmanteau word was coined as an amusing way to describe restaurant chains such as Tilted Kilt, Twin Peaks and Hooters, which rely on having scantily clad, attractive and flirtatious female staff to attract customers? Nobody? They're called breastaurants. What portmanteau word describes ground including rock or soil which is at or below the freezing point of water for over 2 years? These areas are usually at high latitudes in around the Arctic and Antarctic and is made up of the words permanent and frost.
Lee.
Permafrost, yes.
Absolutely.
Containing some of Robert Frost's best known poems, such as Mending Wall and After Apple Picking, what work published in 1914 is Frost's second collection of poems. Its title suggests towns such as Somerville, Charlestown and Cambridge, which are on the opposite bank of the Charles River from the state capital of Massachusetts.
Simon.
Left bank.
Incorrect.
Is it Boston?
No. Yeah. Lee was closest, it's north of Boston. Crossing the line noticeably without a sweat, not being out of breath and looking a bit out of shape compared to ordinary top-level competitors, they were interviewed afterwards and were seen to be totally unaware of concepts such as time splits or course details, like the students of Wellesley College cheering the first female competitor to pass them by, who despite this was originally thought to be the winner of the 1980s Women's Boston Marathon in what was then an American record. It was later discovered that she had jumped out from the crowd half a mile from the end of the course and only ran that part of the race. Died about a month ago. She's called Rosie Ruiz. Following the 2007 Berlin Marathon, Roberto Madrazo's timing indicated that he had covered a 9-mile section of the course in 21 minutes. It was later found out that he had missed 2 checkpoints due to cutting the course and was disqualified. The year before, in 2006, he was a leading contender in which country's presidential election? Mexico. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Between 1995 and 2002, Robert Madrazo had been the governor of which Mexican state that has Villahermosa as its capital. The state is the home to La Venta, which was the centre of the Olmec civilization, and the
Tony R.
Veracruz. That's incorrect. One life away.
Loser.
And the state also gives its name to a product made by the company McElhenney of Avery Island. product in question is made from salt, vinegar and chili peppers, which measure between 2,000
Lee.
Tabasco. Yeah.
Moves Lee level with Tony on 7, Simon on 4, Tony R on 3.
Nominated for an Academy Award in 1958 for Best Short Subject Cartoon, the Looney Tune cartoon Tabasco Road features which character in
Tony R.
Speedy Gonzales, yeah.
Correct emotive.
Argentinian wrestler El Gigante, also known as Giant Gonzalez, is the only WWE wrestler to ever be billed as being what landmark height?
Tony W.
Eiffel Tower.
Simon.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Nothing to
Tony
it.
said.
He said Eiffel Tower.
8 foot.
8 feet
Oh,
tall.
you want this height,
I thought he said 8 foot tall. I was thinking, no, that's right.
Writing for The Independent, journalist Neil Norman described him as the world's naffest balladeer, and his signature song is regularly voted among the nation's least favourite. His
Tony R.
James Blunt.
That is incorrect, Life Away.
What do you say?
James Blunt. His first albums in 1974 was Far Beyond the Castle Walls, and it failed to chart in the UK, although his second, Spanish Train and Other Stories, did.
Tony.
Christopher. Yeah.
Affirmative.
Have I got one life left?
Yeah. Jean Hill, who died in 2000 in Dallas at the age of 69, was referred to as the Woman in Red when she appeared briefly wearing a red coat in a film made by Abraham Zabruda.
Simon.
November 1963, Kennedy assassination, John Fitzgerald, Drossie Knoll, etc.
Yeah, it's
Covering his bases. Yeah, you can have that. Yeah. It was a Kennedy assassination video she appeared in. The musical Assassins features JFK's assassin Lee Harvey Oswald, the music and lyrics for which were written by which person, who also won an Oscar for Best Song in 1990 for writing Sooner or Later I Always Get My Man, performed by Madonna in the film Dick Tracy. His other works include the musical Follies, A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to
Tony W.
Steve Sondheim.
Sondheim, yeah.
Affirmative.
Sweeney Todd is known as a demon barber of which street in London?
Simon.
Which street?
Fleet, yeah.
Yes.
Fleet Street, the Strand and Trafalgar make up the red properties in the London version.
Simon.
In the London version, we're not no. Not going to easy that. Far too easy. They make up the traditional red properties in a London version of Monopoly. Buying all three properties would cost a player how much money?
Tony R.
£700.
It's incorrect, nothing away.
Lee.
450.
Incorrect.
Tony W.
680.
£680, yeah.
That moves Tony to 10 points and he's only lost 1 life. Then it's Simon 7, Lee 7, Tony R 4, and they've all lost 2 lives.
Never charting in the UK.
Well, Michael, you said.
Yes. Never charting in the UK and featuring lyrics which included references to artwork such as Guernica and the Mona Lisa. Which band recorded the 1973 song Do the Strand?
Tony W.
Roxy Music.
Roxy Music, yeah. Whilst Pablo Picasso's Guernica is the most well-known painting showing the bombing of the Spanish city of Guernica, which painter's 1937 work, The Black Flag, also depicts the atrocity. The painting is in the Surrealist style.
Tony W.
Is it Malevich?
Sorry?
Malevich?
No, it's incorrect, life away.
Everybody's just got 1 life left now.
It's in the Surrealist style, and other works by this artist include The Menaced Assassin, Gioconda, and The Human Condition. Who was this Belgian artist who painted the words, "This is not a pipe," under a painting of a pipe, in his work for Treachery of Images?
Simon.
Magritte.
Magritte, yeah.
It was when you said Surrealist, I thought press.
Yes.
The winner of the award in 1989, which winner of the prestigious Pipe Smoker of the Year could be seen regularly on TV smoking a pipe between 1984 and 1995 until his sudden death that year, when he played his critically acclaimed television role of a Detective Sherlock Holmes?
Lee.
Jeremy Brett.
Jeremy Brett. Yep.
Simon and Lee both on 8 now.
Of the 4 Sherlock Holmes novels, which became in 1914 the last to be published?
Lee.
House of Fear.
Sorry?
Valid. Should have given that.
The null adult and all that question.
Absolutely.
So, well, am I giving it that?
No, because he had house Sophia first.
Okay.
Have a reset. That's it. What we're at there? Yeah,
Just avoiding the question.
Set the ranking.
Alright.
Which person, the founder of the Gonzo journalism movement, had a 1971 novel made into a 1998 one directed by Terry Gilliam?
Tony R.
Hunter S. Thompson.
Hunter S. Thompson, yeah.
Correct amount.
Which city contains the headquarters of KFC and the company that made the baseball bats used by Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez? It was the birthplace of Hunter S. Thompson, William Conrad, Victor Mature and Muhammad Ali. Which city, the largest in
Tony W.
Louisville, is correct.
Is James.
Affirmative.
Tony!